So I am about to make a shrimp salad, and first I am grilling my shrimp in this grill pan on my stove. Okay, so I just chopped up a huge tomato, which is right here, and then this is a red bell pepper that I just chopped up, and then this is red onion that actually was in my freezer. It's still kind of frozen, so I've taken some of that out so that it can thaw. And then this corn was frozen, and I just steamed it for a few minutes in the microwave here. So, and this is just a cup of corn. Now what I'm going to do is just put all of these ingredients together in a bowl. I think I'm only going to use half of this bell pepper, so I'm going to put half of it in the freezer and save it for another recipe. I'm going to put all this in a bowl, and then I'm going to show you what I'm going to put on top of it. Okay, so this is what the salad looks like. So this is a cup of tomatoes. It is 1 cup of corn, 1/4 of a cup of onions, and 1/2 cup of the bell pepper. So I put it in this container, I stirred it up, and then I put in my shrimp. This is 8 ounces of shrimp. I wish it was 9 ounces of shrimp, but when the shrimp is frozen, it's hard to tell how much it's going to weigh after you cook it. So now for the sauce. So I am going to be putting in some apple cider vinegar, some olive oil. This is right near me. The Queen Creek olive mill is like 15 miles away from me. I'm going to be trying this salt for the first time. I bought this when I was in Portland, Oregon. I've heard of this Jacobson Salt Company, so I was really excited to find this there. And then the most important ingredient is your lime. So I'm going to squeeze this whole lime in there. I'm going to add about a tablespoon of the apple cider vinegar and about a tablespoon of the olive oil. Okay, so words cannot describe how good this is. I put in 2 tablespoons of the apple cider vinegar. It was so delicious. And so now that the flavor of the shrimp is in there, I think I'm not going to store it with the shrimp in there. I think I'm going to take the shrimp out and put it in a separate container and keep it in my refrigerator. And this is the type of dish that's going to taste better the next day. So I cannot wait to have this over the next few days. Okay, so I am about to do my meal prep. So for one meal, I am going to use this coleslaw mix and this dressing that I've never tried before. And I'm just going to mix this with the coleslaw mix. So, and I bought a rotisserie chicken, so I'm just going to be having chicken and coleslaw. So that's one very easy meal. Now, for my next meal, so once again, I'm showing you what I do with things from my freezer. So if you've watched some of my previous videos, a few weeks ago, I used these zucchini noodles to make a dish. And then these are the butternut squash noodles that I used to make a dish. And I put the leftovers in the freezer. So I took them out of the freezer last night, and so now they're thawed out. And then the video you just watched a second ago, I had chopped up a red bell pepper that was last week, and I had put the rest in the freezer. So here is the bell pepper. So I'm going to roast these together like in a skillet, and I'm going to mix in some mushrooms, and I'm going to cook one of these Italian sausages and add some tomato sauce. So it's going to be a sausage and vegetable concoction. I was going to say stir fry, but it's not really a stir fry. What is it? Whatever, a dish. So stay tuned for that. Okay, so my sausage is cooking up in the skillet, but this is my coleslaw. So I'm going to have this for the next 3 days. It was just very easy. The rest of this, guess what? I'm going to put it in the freezer And then in a week or so, I'm going to make crack slaw, and that's what I'm going to use this for. And I got my mushrooms all cut up, so now I'm just waiting for my sausages. Let me see, these are cooking away here. So once these are done, then I'm going to use the same skillet and do my onions and my peppers and my mushrooms. Okay, so this is the red bell pepper, the mushrooms, and then I added some red onions. I almost always have onions in my freezer, and so right now I have red onion, so that's what I added, and I have already cooked this up. It's all nice and toasted. So I'm going to remove this from the skillet, and then I'm going to put my noodles in here. So the zucchini was very waterlogged from being frozen, so I did squeeze it between some paper towels before I put it in the skillet, but the butternut squash was okay. So now I'm just going to let these roast in the skillet to get all the water to evaporate first from these noodles before I add anything else in here. Okay, so after I finished roasting the squashes, I added the mushroom, bell pepper, and onions back in here. So now I need to add the sauce. I've decided that I'm not going to use that giant jar of tomato sauce. So instead I found this in my pantry, this tomato sauce. But I'm only going to use a little bit of it. So I poured out 1/4 of a cup. I want to see what this looks like. I have all these delicious ingredients, so I don't think this needs a lot of sauce, because it's not like it's actual pasta. Every single one of these ingredients already tastes very good by itself. So let me see. I don't know. I think I just might leave it like this. I don't want it to have a lot of sauce in it because I want to be able to taste everything. So that's just 1/4 of a cup of tomato sauce that I added. The reason that I measure everything is because I put all of my recipes in my Fitness Pal, so I needed to know exactly how much sauce I put in here. Okay, so now I'm going to put this in my meal prep containers. So this is the finished product. So I chopped up the sausage and I just put it on top. There's 2 ounces of sausage in each one of these, and then I decided that when I heated it up it probably was going to be a little dry, so I put a little bit more of the tomato sauce on top of each one of these. And you probably could put even more tomato sauce if you do have a problem with dryness, but I think that once I heat this up, the juices from the sausage will still make this nice and moist. And then of course the rest of the tomato sauce that's left, this is going in the freezer. So I can't wait to try this tomorrow. It just looks delicious. It's going to be sweet and savory, and then I have this sausage. I can't wait to try it. So I already had my protein coffee several hours ago, so this is my breakfast, which is just a hard-boiled egg, some of this prosciutto that I found at Whole Foods, and then some berries. I normally don't eat blackberries, but they looked really good, and I think it's important to switch up your fruits and your vegetables to try to make sure you're getting different nutrients. So my breakfast is always some type of protein and a fruit. So yeah, this looks really good. Okay, so it's time for dinner. So this is my coleslaw, and then this is a piece of the rotisserie chicken. So this is just a drumstick, and then I took a little bit of the thigh because this drumstick is really tiny. I mean, there's not much meat on here. I weighed this whole thing. It's only 3 ounces, even with the 2 bones in there. So that's not even very much protein. For lunch, I had the sausage with the vegetables. It was so good. Although next time if I make that, I think I'm going to add more mushrooms and more onions, because the butternut squash to me made it a little bit too sweet. And I don't like super sweet vegetables. So yeah, that's just a suggestion for me the next time I make it, if I make it again. But it was really delicious though. That Italian sausage was perfect. So I'm having this for dinner, and thanks for watching.